I want to talk about fear. Fear has been like a mystery to everyone. People don't understand why they are afraid. To most of us, we think fear is an external thing, like based on the things we see around. But fear is far from that. And a lot have tried several means to stop being afraid. But just find out that fear is there, hanging in them. If there's anything I weep about over humanity, it's fear. Because the horror of fear is unbearable. Fear is the evil there is. There is nothing that is as dreadful as fear. Fear is the source of what you call evil. Now, actually, fear is simply the consciousness of being in danger. The consciousness of not being free. And this comes from our perception of who we think God is. God is love. And as love, there is no evil in him. God is light, and as light, there is no darkness in him. And his Father means source. We are the expression of source. And as such, him who is over us is not danger. He is love. He is light. He is one with us, for us, and with us, not against us. So that consciousness of danger is the expression of fear. And as scripture puts it in 1 John, it says, fear causes torment. Fear is tormenting. Fear is terrible. The consciousness of being in danger is tormenting, is horrible. So that consciousness is simply from our perception about whom God is. He is love, I want to emphasize further. He is light, and there is no evil in him. So as our Father, he is our dwelling place, he is our environment, he is our atmosphere, and our inward motivation. So from that understanding of whom he is over us, we will now begin to see a sense of rest developing in us, a sense of harmony, a sense of peace, a sense of hope and courage, because there is actually nothing to be afraid of. For instance, let's look at what happened to Adam in the garden. Let me just paraphrase. In Genesis, to be precise, it was after he ate of the tree he was not meant to eat of that he had a consciousness that tells him that there's danger. In other words, he had a perception of God as a dictator, as someone that can harm him at will, such that when he heard the voice of God, he was afraid. That was the consciousness. He was afraid because of the perception, because of the consciousness, the mindset he had towards his source. So it's just like when you're feeding from a particular source, that is what you experience, that is what you interact with, and that is what you express. So what happened to Adam was that he was feeding from a source that he defined as dangerous or danger or evil. And because he was feeding from that source, he was in the realm of fear, anxiety, and worry. And he expresses also the nature of that which he feeds from, according to his mindset. The wickedness we see and all whatnot is coming from the perception that we have about source. Scripture also puts it in Hebrews that Christ came to deliver those who through fear of death, which means death in itself is not evil, in quote, who through fear of death are subject to lifelong bondage. I was saying this some days back in a post. I said, fear does not stop death, in quote. It stops life. Because death in itself is not what we think. Death is not evil. Death is like a movement, like transition. According to Paul, when Paul said we die daily, or I die daily, so to speak, Paul was talking about the fact that he moves daily, he evolves daily. Then there's that final movement, which we all call death. You're not breathing. But that is another movement to another realm of life. In other words, if our understanding is accurate, we will see death for what it is. And there won't be any consciousness of danger whatsoever. So my point here is to bring to our understanding that don't look out trying to avoid fear. Look within and see your source for who he is. He is love, he is light, he is one with you. And he's not somewhere, he is everywhere. Actually, he is the universe. The universe is love. The universe is light. The universe is one with you. There is no evil anywhere. You are one with love. You are one with light. You are light. You are love. So there is no evil. Nothing is against you. No wonder Paul speaking, he said, if God, or let's say love, light is for you, who can be against you? That's a deep statement. If light, if source is for you, Paul was saying something quite deep, trying to bring to our consciousness that if the entire universe is for you, what else is against you? Speaking to Timothy, he said, God has not given you the spirit of fear. In other words, source does not supply fear, does not supply anxiety. God has not given, has not supplied you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of sound mind. That is all you find from the Father. So I want to say here today, even about the present situations that we're experiencing, in quote, globally, actually, these are lies. Evil doesn't exist. Disease doesn't exist. No virus actually is existing. Why you see these things as real is because of your consciousness. When we tune to the right frequency of our oneness and harmony with Source, these things will diminish. I'm not encouraging us not to be afraid. I'm saying that fear is a lie. It doesn't exist because there is nothing to be afraid of. I trust that as we take our time to think and to look inwards and to embrace this right thought line of our source, we'll begin to see that actually there is nothing like fear whatsoever. So bless your hearts. I trust that you will come home. And home is that personal experience of what I just talked about, of whom our Father is to us.